This is the 2026 Chevrolet Silverado EV LT. Is it more than just a great looking truck? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. We're back at Chevy Land in Shreveport, Louisiana for today's video. If you want to know more, check out the link down in the description of the video. One thing you can't deny is that these trucks do look really sharp. It'll be interesting to see if there's any comparison with the next generation of the gas burners that we have coming for 2027 compared to what we see right here. We're going to take a quick look at our LED lighting. Let me hit the button right here just so you can see everything in action. You do have the animated lighting. Now, if you want to turn that off, there is a way to do that. You can see the lighting working its way all the way across. LED daytime running lights, and then we'll also have our LED headlights. But I like how everything goes all the way across. Just gives it that a little bit better look, in my opinion. It looks more complete. Since you don't have a traditional grille with an EV, that's a little bit easier to do. LED headlights with LED high beams and low beams, and obviously, with the overall design of this truck, aerodynamics very important with any EV because you want to keep that charge capacity as high as possible for as long as possible. We'll have our traditional bow tie logo right here. This truck will be four-wheel drive. It has an exterior color of slate gray and a black Evotex interior. We're going to have the 18-inch wheels right here, and something that's a big advantage to this truck is that underneath the rear is a spare tire. Now, you're going to find the matte black finish here on the surround. It is a plastic finish, but you know what? That works. That way, if you get off-road, which you can do a little bit of light off-roading with this truck, it's not going to scratch this area up and damage it the way it would if it was painted. We will also find our assist steps right here. Not necessary for a lot of people, I don't think, because the truck isn't sitting super high off the ground. But if you need that to get in and out, it does help. You'll also find with the Chevrolet logo that the E is going to be in blue, since this is an EV. And as far as our side view mirrors go, a couple of things that are missing here. Number one, you'll notice no turn signal indicators built in. That's a little bit of a surprise. They're also going to be manually folding, just like that. Get those to fold in. But everything else is here. They're heated, they're power adjustable, and you have your blind spot monitoring built in. You can come right here and push the button either on the front door handle or back here on the rear to lock or unlock all the four doors. That's your passive entry. That's going to be nice for the parents out there that need to come to the back seat first. And we'll find that we're going to find a little gloss black trim here in a few different areas, but I think it's nicely placed. I like that it's not just all over the truck and all over the front end especially. Working our way back, you can see that the taillights actually work their way into the side of the bed area right here, just giving it a nice unique look. That is also going to be LED, just like our front lights were. And let me do this real fast just so you can see everything in action. So the animation that goes on back here too, when you lock and unlock everything, you can't see as much back here, but it is quite bright, believe it or not, when it comes to this truck. Now, how about your towing and payload? The payload is going to be 2,308 pounds. You can tow up to 8,500. Now, you'll notice that the tailgate is locked right now. That's nice to have. When I unlock the truck, you'll hear it unlock, and it's going to be dampened, as you can see right there, so that's nice to have. A little surprised there's not going to be a standard bed liner that comes with this truck. I believe there should be, but that's the situation here. You will find that you have several tie-down points, as you can see, and while I don't have it on right now, you can see the in-bed LED lighting that points towards the front of the bed. You're also going to have that 115-volt power outlet right over here. See if I can get over here and show that to you. There is your power outlet if you need to take advantage of that. And something else that I want to show you that's really important here. One thing in the remote is that we have a key. This is called a mechanical key. If I can get it out of here, hit the button. It would help to hit the right place. Right there is the mechanical key. What do you do with that? Let's go around to the driver's side door. Let's just say that the battery in your key fob dies, or maybe you're out of charge capacity with your Silverado EV. You can still get in and out and lock and unlock everything with the lock right there one of those nice little advantages that Chevrolet gives to you. With this particular truck, we're looking at 605 horsepower and 605 pounds-feet of torque. 0 to 60 is going to be about 4.2 seconds. Top speed about 120 miles per hour. Your charge port is going to be right here. Nice to have that on the driver's side, the same way as with the gas tanks with so many of these trucks that GM produces. And how about your charge capacities? DC fast charger, you're looking at 100 miles in about 10 minutes. A level 2 or home charger, we're looking at 8 to 13 hours for a full charge, and a level 1 is going to be very slow, has a few miles of range per hour. You really need to make sure that you have the right thing when you're going to charge at home or wherever you might be going, depending on the time that you need to get your EV charged up. Let's talk about what your second row passengers are going to find here in the back seat area. We'll start with the door bin or door panel right here, which includes the door bin. Plenty of room with the armrest. It does have a little bit of padding built into that. That's nice and comfortable. And then the door bin itself is nice and large. There are a couple of cup holders that are going to be down here, so you can put cups or bottles in there. And that's actually very important because up here when we look into the interior area, there's no fold down armrest or cup holders right here in this area, although you do have a couple of cup holders right here. We're also going to have a little bit of storage space, a couple of air conditioning vents, and some USB ports right here. Then another 115 volt power outlet, a little bit of storage right underneath that area. One thing that's not lacking back here is going to be space for your rear seat passengers. Plenty of room. Going to have the rear seat pockets right here. And one more thing I do want to show you real quick before we move to the front seat area is there's also going to be storage underneath this area, but I like the additional storage if you need this in the interior. How about the sticker price? Well, if you look at the sticker in the window, it's $62,995. However, you might have noticed this earlier in the video, right up there, we have another sticker that shows that it's $3,000 off. The price is actually $59,995 here at Chevyland. Let's see what else you get for that price. We'll start with the upper console. Not a ton to talk about up here. You're going to have things like OnStar and your emergency right there. If you need to turn the hazard lights on, there you go with that. And then you can turn your lights on right here as far as your map lights go. And we'll move over to the passenger side right here. A little bit of space above the glove box. And then the glove box itself can have a little bit of space within that area. Nothing out of the ordinary. Now we're going to move over to the passenger side over there to the door panel and show you what's going on there. A little bit more space with not only the armrest, but also with the door bin. So quite a bit of space there to make your passenger nice and comfortable. On the driver's side door panel, a few more things to talk about. You've got your lock and unlock, your controls for your side view mirrors, and one touch down, but you'll have to hold the buttons down to bring your rear windows up. But the driver's side door is going to be one touch down and one touch up. Right here, we're going to have a couple of different things to note. Right there is your power parking brake. You can turn on your lane keeping assist right there. You can open and close your front trunk right here. You can also determine how things work with your trailer brakes right there if you want to. And this model does have a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. It is manually adjustable. Here are steering wheel mounted controls, which you're going to have a heated steering wheel. If you want to take advantage of that, there is the button for that. Everything for adaptive cruise control on the back of the steering wheel. Right over here on the left-hand side is going to be the controls for determining what you're listening to. On the right-hand side, you have the same thing. That's your volume control. And we're going to have some controls here for voice commands. You can make a few changes here to audio if you want to do that. As you can see, I can choose what I am using to bring in my audio, whether it's Sirius XM, AM, FM, whatever it is, and I just push the button right there to do that. Now, right here, if you want to change what you see on the driver's display, we're going to push that and just go through. We have a few different looks, And also, you can come in here and bring up your navigation, depending on what you want to see. There is the navigation. You do have Google built in here, so you have Google Assistant and all that good stuff is going to be here. No head-up display in this particular case, just so you know. As far as the center screen goes, obviously you're going to have your control here for volume. If you want to adjust that, you can do that right there. Now, you do have a few interesting things to note right here. To turn the vehicle off, here's where you're going to do that. You can cancel that, which I'm going to do. And if you need to make sure it stays on for another 60 minutes, well, then you can take care of that. Just make sure you have the sufficient charge. And right here, we're going to have our one pedal driving. If you want to use that, that's when you take your foot off of the power pedal, then it's using kinetic energy with the brakes. As you slow down, not only does it slow the vehicle down without touching the brakes, but it also helps to charge the battery that way or keep the charge capacity up. You can turn that on and off if you want to. Here's where you're going to control everything with your headlights, depending on what you need to do there. Just leave that on auto, and you don't even have to worry about it. And as far as the the center screen details with all of our different icons right here, you can see what all is going on. You can wirelessly pair your smartphone if you want to do that. We have all of our different camera views, and probably look a little bit better in person than they do on camera, but you do have these different views. You've got the front and the rear. You can change what you're seeing depending on where you want to see. There's your trailer hitch view right there. Quite a few different options where that is concerned. What about vehicle status? Let's talk about what that does. Now, there's a few things going on here that you can do. Now, if you want to see tire pressure on the driver's display, for example, you can add that to the display. And I know a lot of people are going to want to see that when they're driving down the road. So there's how you can do that. You can also go right here and remove that if you want to. You can relearn the sensors if you need to do that, if you've had to add air or something along those lines. But here's what else we're going to have. Energy info is going to be right here. And once again, you can come in here and you can add this information to the driver's display if you don't already see it. You can do the same thing with everything else that you see here as far as that goes, just so you can see what's going on and have an idea of what the vehicle does. In fact, we'll go back in one more time and see our trip information. And once again, you can come in here and do the same thing. As you can see, you can add that to the driver's display if you would like to do so. Now, how about your driving modes? Here are our driving modes. You can see the graphics that go along with that. You've got My Mode, where you can customize everything. You've got Normal, if you want to do that. You have your Off-Road mode. And then you have your tow haul mode. That's where you can tow that 8,500 pounds. We'll come back out of there. A couple more things to note. Google Assistant, you can come in here into climate. Now, this doesn't mean that this is the only place you can adjust your climate. Good news, there are physical controls, but there are things you can do in here, such as changing the position where the air is flowing, different things like that. You can sync that, but a lot of this you can also do with the controls down here. Now, if you want to adjust what's going on in the rear seating area, notice the difference, how this back seat is now filled in compared to what we saw right here when it's the front seat that's all filled in white. That way you know what you're adjusting, just so you have an idea of what's going on here. We'll go also into settings right here. You can see several of your different options that you're going to have available. But a lot of people always ask me about the safety features. Now, we can come in here and turn on and off things such as rear seat reminder, buckle to drive, collision, and safety features, our collision detection systems. You have alert type, forward collision avoidance, front pedestrian braking, intersection collision braking, adaptive cruise, speed from signs. If you want to turn that on or off, you can do that. You can see that some of these you can turn on and off just like this. There you go. You know if it's on or off. Adaptive cruise go notifier, side bicyclist alert, lane change alert, reverse automatic braking, park assist tow bar, rear cross traffic braking, and rear pedestrian alert. You're going to have to say all of that back in a test later in the video by memory. Yes, there is a lot there. And just to show you a little bit of what's here, audio, something else that I know people like to know about. Here's what all you can listen to, depending on what you're wanting to do. If you want to use USB or whatever it is, listen to AM radio, FM radio, you can see what all is here. But just to show you a little bit of what's going on here. Now, we're going to come in here to controls and safety. You can turn your dome light on right there. You can lock out the windows. You can have the cameras right there. Just depends on what you need to do. There's your auto high beam if you want to turn that on or off. Some of these things I wish were still physical controls, but this is what you're going to have with this particular vehicle. And you also have your drive and park. That's going to be your park assist. And something that's very important right here, this is where you're going to come to add your pairing for the remotes, for your garage doors, your garage door openers. You take care of that right here. And see that? You can add up to 8. Who has 8 to pair? Raise your hand if that's you. I know that's not me. I only have 2. But just so you can see what's going on, what's there as far as that goes, you can also come in here to maps and phone. You can see all of that. Air conditioning vents beneath the center screen, and right beneath that, there are those physical controls I was telling you about earlier in the video for adjusting the temperature. You can sync everything together if you want to, which is done on the screen. You also have the ability to turn on your front and rear window defoggers. You can use your fan speed adjustment right there, or you can just set it on auto if you want to. Now, underneath that, a couple of USB ports and a 12-volt power outlet. Try and get my hand out of the way so you can see that. There's your 12-volt power outlet, and your wireless charging pad is right here. I'm going to set my phone on that so you can see what's going on with that. Don't know if it came on or not, but that's your wireless charging pad. And then you have your cup holders surrounded by piano black finish. I probably just got a little bit of my handprint on there. I could play the piano on that and find out if it fingerprints up or not. It probably does. Multitasker, because you can use it as a sunglass holder too, as you can see I'm doing with your cup holders. A little bit of space in front of the center console. We're going to have the center console lid that has the black exterior or interior color here with our contrast stitching. And then we're also going to be able to come right in here and see that there is a reasonable amount of space within. And guess what? You have another USB port right here. Quite a few USB options throughout the interior. All right, let's get out on the road for a quick test drive with the Silverado EV. The ride quality seems to be pretty good. Rides a little bit like a truck to some degree, but not too bad. The seats themselves are comfortable, and the driver's seat is power adjustable. The passenger seat is manually adjustable, but a lot of adjustability built here into the driver's area between the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel and the power adjustable seat. A lot of adjustability as far as that goes, so no matter your height, you should be able to set things up to where you're nice and comfortable. There is a lot of room here as far as headspace goes. That's not going to be a problem whatsoever. Now, you might notice that I never said anything in the video about a sunroof. That is because in this particular case, there is not one. So that's one of the things that is not here. For those who don't want one, obviously that's not a big deal. I know if I was buying this truck, I would be happy about that because personally, I do not prefer a sunroof. Everybody I know has their different desires and wants as far as that goes, but that's the situation here. And as far as the power pedal and the brake pedal go, easy to adjust to. I like that. You don't have an overly aggressive brake pedal. That is not going to be a problem whatsoever. And the technology here is not hard to learn and use. That is one of the good things about this truck, is that it's not difficult as far as the learning curve goes. If you do have any trouble, you can obviously go right here to YouTube and you're going to be able to watch tutorials on whatever it is you want to know about. Maybe there's something you want to ask me to do, and maybe I can make that tutorial for you if one of these trucks is available to do that with. I will definitely make that happen. Overall, very enjoyable to drive. Now, one thing that is interesting here that you may wonder about, can you leave the cameras on while you're driving? Yes, you can. You can actually do that in this truck. It just depends on what camera you want. You can just choose that camera and you're good to go. And it will stay on while you're driving if you need to look at a certain area. Maybe you can't see out of the bed or the back window, I should say, because you have a lot of cargo back there, whatever the situation is, and you're not used to driving with your side view mirrors. Well, guess what? You can still take care of that with that camera. You can see behind you. This truck does not have a digital rear view mirror, by the way. That's something else that you may have wondered about. I didn't mention that because it's not here. But overall, I'd say a very enjoyable truck to drive. It's fun. It gets up to speed very quickly. One thing that's interesting about these EVs, especially when they're quick, is you might think, I'm going to use that feature all the time. I'm going to step on it all the time and have fun. You do it a few times and you get it out of your system, and that's a good thing that you say, okay, that's enough of that. I'm not worried about doing that all the time anymore. The good thing about that is that you're going to save charge capacity, because every time you drop the power pedal to the floor, obviously you're using more charge capacity than you would otherwise. And there it is, the 2026 Chevrolet Silverado EV LT. Is it more than just a great looking truck? Tell me what you think down in the comment section. It definitely looks great, but that's not all that matters, that's for sure. I would like to say a special thanks to our friends at Chevyland here in Shreveport, Louisiana, for loaning us this truck for the day so we could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give us the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That's very helpful to us. Make sure to subscribe and share this video on your timeline on social media so other people can see it. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and we'll see you there.